drugs. How can you threaten a woman that's pregnant like this? What if she loses the child? Well, somebody will tell you, nobody cares. This is not her house. I mean, you will go like, why would you put pressure on this person who's just trying to live? I mean, they're within emergency. They're going to be unalive if they don't get the treatment. Fellas, you know, we're always trying to bring you some good and positive news here. We try to, bring everybody on board, have honest discussions with each other so we can move forward. I know some of you don't know, but it comes times here where we tell the truth, We tell the truth to each other. Sometimes the truth doesn't taste good. Okay, it's not always sweet. The truth is very necessary for peace and for progress. You cannot have a community if you don't have the ability to open up to each other and tell one another the truth. We call each other brothers as Africans, and I always refute that because I think there's a lot of work to be done for that brotherhood to be correct. It's not just about saying you're my brother. It's about showing me brotherhood that truly matters. I'm going to give you a very simple example. When they came from Muhammad Gaddafi, people that betrayed him were Africans, even though he did so many things for Africans. He paid some countries' debts in World Bank. He paid for the telecommunication satellites that allowed Africans to use their own telecommunication satellite for cell phone use in Africa. But they betrayed him. Should any other person, any other country from a different continent attack a European country, do you think Europeans would have watched? No. Even the worst European, if there is, other countries will not have allowed that. There's a video that's happened in South Africa. We're going to have to go through it. It's a very sad situation of a lady that's pregnant, apparently a Zimbabwean. I think this has happened today. I just got somebody forwarded it to me today. And she left Zimbabwe, crossing into South Africa, trying to get healthcare. She's heavily pregnant. And once she got to the hospital, apparently she was asked to leave the hospital. We're talking about public hospitals. And in South Africa, public hospitals allow you to get free care if you are South African and many other things. We get into the details. And apparently some South African ladies kicked her out. At least she was intimidated and she ran out. And they followed her outside and put pressure on her, asking her why she was there. And she should return to Zimbabwe and go get healthcare. For context, here's a map. You see Zimbabwe, you see South Africa, neighboring country. Yes, neighboring countries with a common, in some areas, history. Trust me, they won't acknowledge it today, but they're very similar history. Because some of the people, you find Xhosa-related people in Zimbabwe, Xhosa in South Africa. You found Zulus in South Africa and a version of Zulus. They want to call them different, but it's a very similar language. Anyway, let's watch what happens and we make a comment. Let's go.
Why did you run away?
You make babies, what? Sister, when you were checking in the ward, when you ran away?
In the toilet, why?
Why? Even now, she ran again. She said, I'm coming, I'm going to the bathroom. Toilet. She's gone. Now,
Why
can we have our
you
medication?
think we are playing?
Can we have our medication? The one they gave. You did what?
There's no way they don't give you.
Well, what were you doing inside there?
Vitamins that you get.
They helped you again.
No.
That's already mad. You had blood. Where did you take them to?
Okay, so I know not everybody understand the accent. I know people come from all over the world. We need to jump on it slowly so we can understand. They're asking her, when we looked into you, why did you run away? She's troubled. You can see this woman is heavily pregnant. She's like, well, why did you run away? I'm talking to you. What were you doing? Doesn't know how to answer. The lady said they took blood from her. So they took blood, obviously for testing purpose. And now they're going to ask her, how much did you pay for the blood? Because you need to justify. Are you taking free treatment from our facility or not? Let's continue.
Did you take them to? Because since you went to the
So you didn't get any medication, folic acid medication, nothing.
And then how much is the blood test?
Okay, you didn't get any medication. There's no medication for pregnant women that you got for free. Okay, to justify you taking medication for free in our South African facilities. How much did the blood cost? Let's go.
Did you pay?
How much
Did you pay?
is the blood? You know it's how much. You know it's how much. Just for.
How much did you pay for the blood? This is a way to test whether she really paid or she got the blood test for free. Okay, let's go.
7.
No, the blood test that you took.
I'm asking you 7. And some of the questions that are in the level.
Okay. You know how much for blood test? To take blood test, it's more than 10,000 something.
Okay, so how much blood did you pay? She gave a number. The lady laughed, saying, no, that is not the number. What you're giving us as number or the price of the blood test, it's not what it is. So insinuating that you're lying, you actually got the blood test for free. Let's go.
Here in South Africa, go to the private clinic or any doctor. Well, now you do medical blood testing for mahala.
So you're coming to the country to take blood test for free, okay? For context, in South Africa, people that attend public hospitals get treated for free, if not at a very low price. That's the rule. Let's continue. But for that, some people don't want Zimbabweans to, profit from that. Don't come from Zimbabwe and get our blood test for free. This is our country, it's not yours. And we'll explain all of that a little bit later. Let's go.
In our country, we pay tax.
Is Zimbabwe paying South African government for your healthcare?
Sorry.
Is Zimbabwe paying South African healthcare money for your care? Is the Zimbabwean government paying for your health you're getting in our country? Okay, we're seeing here a lady that's heavily pregnant, all by herself. We're going to try to be human here. We're going to balance. Okay, and I know this is a very sensitive subject and a lot of people will not like me very much, but it's not going to change the fact that I'm a human being and I have to stand with 2 feet. And when I die, I must die with no regrets. Let's continue.
It's not paying
Or by
anything.
South African by association of people like
I even like brothers to sisters. That's not like anymore. That's black
Because live on they don't even
Yes.
and they are regular. Oh, you know what happens? Go.
Can you go and fix your problem with Munangabo?
Can you go back to your country and fix your system? Okay, this is not acceptable. Not in our country. Go fix Zimbabwe.
Go to Zimbabwe. You don't want you anymore.
So start making arrangements. Let me say this. Now, today, when you get home, start making arrangements for where are you going to get that baby from? Where are you going to deliver that baby? Because here you are not coming. Pretoria West, you are not coming.
In our government,
We don't want you anymore. Start making arrangements where you are going to deliver that child, because here we don't want you.
Ramaphosa open the border for you.
We don't want you here. Go home. We don't want you here. Let's go.
Border for you. You can go there.
Yeah, you can go into Ramaphosa's house. He will help you deliver the child.
Okay, Ramaphosa, Mr. Ramaphosa, with all due respect, is the president of the republic. She's saying you can go to the president's house. He's going to help you give birth. Not here anymore. Don't come to our public hospitals.
Leader, even Julius Malema.
Yeah, even Julius Malema.
Julius Malema.
Or you can go to Julius Malema. You know who Julius Malema is? Let's go.
Wrong person. Are you not pregnant? Are you not using our facilities free? Are you not using our facilities?
How much did you
What is wrong here? Because you are using our facilities. You are using our. You came with a bag to give birth. You are using our facilities. No, we are not talking to the wrong person. We are talking to the right person.
You must go back to your country.
You came here to give birth.
Go back. We don't want you anymore. Yes.
Yes. So you can't say we are talking to the wrong person.
Which one?
Yes, I mean, we are in the wrong.
You are here. It's you who are here. It's you who are here in South Africa.
What? There's nothing. My dear.
You are not a South African.
Yes.
As long as you are not a South African.
As much as you kill our brothers.
Yes.
Yes.
You must learn African languages. It's very important.
Brothers are killing us.
Yeah, you will die for the Zimbabwe, for the Zimbabweans that are killing us.
Where are you from?
Where are you from?
Are you a foreigner?
I'm not my country.
Where are you from?
I'm from Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
Okay, fellas. What do you have to say about this? For context, we have a lady a Zimbabwean who's the neighboring country to South Africa that's left her country. We can't tell whether she lives in South Africa and just went to hospital, or whether she lives in Zimbabwe and crossed to South Africa. These are two completely different situations. Is she legal? We cannot tell because nobody has asked her for her passport. It's very easy to say this one is illegal and stuff like that. Doesn't mean a legal immigrant will necessarily go to a paid hospital or private hospital. Not necessarily. Not all legal people have money to go to private hospital. Okay, so is she legal? We don't know. Is she illegal? We don't know. But I think in most cases, people will speculate that she's illegal because you get a lot of Zimbabweans that are illegal. Speculation. Illegal in South Africa. Why? Because Zimbabwe goes through the most. It's a country that's literally on the floor. Since Mugabe declared that white people should give land back to black people.
There is enough land in the country. And out of 12 million hectares, what we want, about half of that, 5 million plus. And they, only 4,000 farmers own 12 million hectares of the most fertile land in the country. Why can't they agree to 5 million plus coming our way?
Yeah, they got support. The whites got support from America, from Britain and Europe. They sanctioned Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe went to the gutter. A lot of white people, farmers that own land in Zimbabwe, crossed from Zimbabwe, look at the map, into South Africa. And some of them went to Zambia. They received support from fellow white people that were already in South Africa that helped them, integrate the community and start working and continue their life. And same for the people in Zambia. Now, Zimbabwe remained an empty country with nothing functioning. Everything fell, everything on the ground, the economy, the infrastructure, everything on the floor. Now, with that being said, a lot of Zimbabwe were forced. They felt like they had to leave the country to go looking for a better life somewhere else because when America sanctions you, there's nothing you can do about it. So they crossed into South Africa. A lot of them crossed into South Africa looking for a better life. And yeah, because the system is failed, we're going to try to find out first. I don't want to give you my opinion. I want you to go through, let's all go through a neutral opinion. How about we ask a computer what the computer thinks, okay? Why are Zimbabweans using healthcare facilities in South Africa? I got a computer right here. Okay, let's use the AI, okay? So it's quicker, okay? They say the Zimbabwe uses South African public hospitals due to collapse of the Zimbabwe healthcare system, which suffers from a shortage of doctors, chronic underfunding, and a lack of drugs and equipment. So we're very clear there. The Zimbabwe's healthcare is on the floor. So all the millions of people living in Zimbabwe, I'm not sure how many people live in Zimbabwe, are faced with a very difficult situation in terms of healthcare. Now, they come to South Africa. How can you come to South Africa? Because it's a different country, right? The South African Constitution guarantees basic healthcare access to all, including migrants, refugees, and asylum seekers, attracting many Zimbabweans, especially for emergency care, childbirth, and treatment for conditions like HIV. So the South African Constitution allows people, including migrants and refugees, to use the South African healthcare system for their needs. Okay, that is the government that made the choice through the Constitution. However, there is a strain because this is somebody else's country. You have to use their facility. The more you use the facility and they allow you, the more you come. The more they let you do it, the more you come. First of all, before I continue, that lady was very stressed, okay? That's not nice, putting so much stress on a pregnant woman like that. You can see she was stressed. She's trying to keep calm because it's a very stressful situation. I mean, don't look at her as a Zimbabwe. If you're going to look at her as your sister, okay? I know people are getting triggered by these sentences. She's very stressed. You can speak to her nicely without having to scream at her. You can still point out things without necessarily having to put pressure on, laughing. Oh, how much did you pay for the blood? It wasn't necessary. Let's continue. So there's a strain on South Africa hospitals, particularly in Limpopo. Here's Limpopo, you can see on the map. Limpopo people are usually very, very nice people. No doubt about it. Lovely people. Pedis, vendors, tongas, very nice people. Okay. Let's continue. South African hospitals, especially in areas like Musina and Vembe district near Zimbabwe border, report significant pressure from Zimbabwe patients seeking care for emergencies, childbirth, and chronic conditions such as HIV. So if you get into an accident or people want to go to South Africa because it's just a border. Just you can cross. Childbirth, people go there because they don't want to die. Chronic disease like HIV, they can get good quality stuff in South Africa. Now the problem is the Zimbabwean patients are overwhelming facilities, and I'm still reading. For these are not my opinion. You can go check it for. I'm not giving my opinion. I want you to give your opinion. Zimbabwean patients are overwhelming the facilities with unverified claims suggesting that 70% of maternity ward patients in some hospitals are Zimbabweans. Unverified claim. Okay, it's not verified. In 2024, report from Vembe District noted that 30 to 40% of patients in certain facilities were foreign nationals, mostly Zimbabweans, straining resources like staff, bed, and medication. Okay, so you can understand from one perspective, South Africans not being happy because let's say somebody has to go for an operation, and these are public hospitals, so you get treated for free or almost for free. Therefore, you must live by the rule, first come, first serve. If somebody needs a liver change or whatever you call it, liver implant, and there's 10 Zimbabweans in front of you, or 12 or 15 Zimbabweans, or 20 Zimbabweans, it becomes stressful because then you remember you are South Africa. This is actually your facility. You need to be attended to, or your child needs to be attended to faster. Why are the Zimbabweans here? Why don't they go to their country? So one side of your brain will go like, this is our country. You use your own facilities. But unfortunately, the lack of resources to that point can sometimes blur the Ubuntu, which is the human side of you, which is it's also a human. They should be treated. Like, getting back to it, would you prioritize a foreigner's health before your child's? And again, we're looking here at people that cannot afford to pay private hospitals. So it's a matter of resources. Now, my question is this. Do you let this woman go and get treated or get the treatment that she needs, being from Zimbabwe, just because you're a human, because you have Ubuntu? Ubuntu is this African way of, loving other Africans, letting them be okay and stuff like that. If you let this one pass, and there's another one, you let that second one pass, and there's a third one, and a fourth one, and a sixth one, what happens next? It becomes very difficult because then now the resources that are limited that you have to fight for it. That becomes a problem on a South African perspective. Now, on a Zimbabwean perspective, they look at it like, you are not human beings. How can you threaten a woman that's pregnant like this? What if she loses a child? Well, somebody will tell you, nobody cares. This is not her house. I mean, you will go like, why would you put pressure on this person who's just trying to live? I mean, they're within emergency. They're going to be unalive if they don't get the treatment. How do you react in that situation? Well, let's get back on track so we can understand. Remember, the first concept I explained to you saying that Zimbabwe chased white people, taking back the land. That was the problem. Then they were hit with sanctions. That's when the country collapsed. Okay? Then everything went south. We get back into that. So, looking into South Africa. South Africa has a great system, okay? Compared to many African countries, not all African countries, some are better than South Africa in terms of hospital structure. There are some countries here that give you very, very good quality. I'm not going to name no country. Very good quality hospital for free. It comes from tax, okay? Well, people talk about tax. Oh, we're paying tax. That our tax money is making sure we have this facility. Not everybody pays tax. Number one. First of all, the majority of people don't pay tax. Let's not get into that. Okay, so other people pay tax. Not everybody pays tax. Let's get back on track. Who created the system that allows South Africa to have healthcare facility where people can access for free or almost for free in many instances? We're talking about public hospital that is decent enough. Okay, historically, let's ask. I don't want to give you my opinion. The public healthcare system in South Africa started during early foundation of the country. We're talking about 17th century, the Dutch and the British colonial period. The origin of public healthcare in South Africa traced back to Dutch East India Company's establishment of basic medical facilities in Cape Colony in 1600, primarily for settlers and soldiers. So initially it was created for settlers, white, and soldiers. Let's fast forward during apartheid in 1948 to 1994. The National Party government segregated healthcare, creating separate hospitals for racial groups. Public hospitals for black South Africans, like Chris Hani in Soweto, were expanded but underfunded by Dr. Hendrik Verwoerd. Okay, we're gonna need to go historically because I know some of you getting emotional. Let's be mathematical. Okay, then after apartheid in 1994, the ANC government under Nelson Mandela restructured the healthcare system to ensure equitable access. In 1996, Constitution, particularly Section 28, guaranteed the right to healthcare to all, including migrants, shaping the modern public hospital system. So, as per the Constitution of South Africa, everybody has the right to get treated at the hospital. So, rationally, if you have queries regarding that, it's the government's task to make sure no migrants goes in the hospital. And for the government to do that, they're going to have to change the law. The law of South Africa says migrants, even illegal migrants, asylum seekers, can go and access public hospitals. So, if you stand in front of a migrant and tell him, don't go inside because this, you are basically breaking the law of South Africa. You are breaking the law of Constitution. So if people want it changed, what they need to do is to get the government to change the law. Okay? Which is going to be very difficult. Now, does that mean we don't understand the stress of South Africans? I mean, having your child waiting on the waiting line, while some Zimbabweans are getting this stuff. No, it's very difficult. It's very difficult for you as a countryman not to profit from what your country can give you because some other people leave their country, which is a fair country, literally, So, what is the solution? The solution is Zimbabwe has to stand up. Zimbabwe has to find solutions. Zimbabwe has to provide healthcare for the people. Zimbabwe has to do what Zimbabwe needs to do for this to stop. And this is one of the things that has created or fueled a lot of xenophobia between South Africans and Zimbabweans. Now, are you saying people are xenophobic? Yes, some people are purely xenophobic. This is just one element to fuse onto the xenophobia sentiment they already had long time ago. Okay? Now, are all South Africans xenophobic? Absolutely not. No. I think I've spent a lot of time with South Africans. I've lived in South Africa before. I own things in South Africa. So I have people that are South African that have played a major role into my development. Some of the nicest people I've met. Are they xenophobic people? Absolutely, yes. Is this fueled by xenophobia? There could be a combination of tiredness, exhaustion, bad past experiences, and xenophobia. Okay, so there's a combination here. My question is this: can we say that every Zimbabwean that's been to South African hospital has been mistreated? Absolutely not. So there's been Zimbabwe that's been treated well. Probably the early ones, okay? Until people got tired. That's what naturally happens. I can let you eat from my plates until I don't have enough anymore. Then it becomes a problem. Let me know how you feel about this, fellas. The bottom line is, I don't know if Africa is ready to live without white people. And I know this is a very difficult sentence to say. Well, South Africa, as much as you hate hearing it, has been influenced in a positive way when it comes to healthcare by those very white people that people are trying to chase. I'm just being honest with you, and you know it. And that's why South Africans that are honest, they love the white people. Yeah, they will kick you away before they kick you away, white people. They can say, oh no, we have to take the land, but it's with the limits. I think it's most people, they just want equality. I don't think they really want the whites to leave. So some black Zimbabweans are being blamed to say, why did you chase your white people from your country? You see, you chased white people, then you came following them to South Africa where you chased them. You should have never chased them from the country. This is a very difficult conversation, but it's a conversation we need to have. Let me know how you feel about this. It's always a great pleasure. We need you to comment. Let's talk about this. No insult. Please don't bring your insult here. Nobody needs it. Really. Let's talk to each other. Let's be honest with one another. So people can understand. Even those who don't understand, they can understand. What are the frustrations? What are the limitations? How are the resources being used? What are the solutions that can be created to manage the situation? God bless.